Hi, my name is Sam. Welcome to the English Everyday Podcast, the show where we talk about real stories, news, history, and big ideas, and we learn English while we do it. No boring grammar rules, just real conversations, real laughs, and real life. So if you are driving your car right now, or cooking, or maybe lying in bed pretending you are being productive, this episode is for you. Today's story is incredible. I mean it. It is the story of a man who could not move his body, but his mind traveled to the edge of the universe and back. His name? Stephen Hawking. Now, before we start, quick English tip. Listen to how I say his name. Hawking, not hog king with a heavy sound. It's soft. Hawking. Say it with me. Hawking. Beautiful. You're already learning. Okay, let's go. Stephen William Hawking was born on January 8, 1942 in Oxford, England. Oxford is a city in England, and it's home to one of the most famous universities in the whole world, Oxford University. Very old, very prestigious. Prestigious, that means famous and respected, something people look up to. His father was a medical researcher. His mother was very educated too. So young Stephen grew up in a family that valued knowledge. Now, was Stephen a perfect student? No, not at all. His teachers actually said he was messy, disorganized, and his handwriting was terrible. I feel very connected to Stephen already. But, and here's the key word, but, he was brilliant. His friends called him Einstein. Even as a child, people could see something special in him. He went to study at Oxford University and then later at Cambridge, another world-famous university. His subject? Physics, the science of how the universe works. Time, space, gravity, black holes. Big stuff, like really big. Now we get to the part of the story that, honestly, gives me chills every time I think about it. Chills. You feel chills when something is very emotional or scary. Your skin gets goosebumps. That gave me chills. Keep that phrase. It's very useful in English conversations. Stephen was 21 years old. He was at Cambridge, young, smart, full of dreams. And then he started to notice something wrong. He was tripping, falling. His hands weren't working properly. Something was happening to his body. He went to the doctors, and after tests, they gave him the diagnosis. Diagnosis, this is the name doctors give to your illness after they examine you. The diagnosis was ALS, a disease that attacks your motor neurons, the cells in your brain and spine that send signals to your muscles. When they stop working, your muscles stop working, slowly, over time. Your body becomes paralyzed. Paralyzed, you cannot move. The doctors told Stephen, "You have 2 years to live." 2 years. He was 21 years old. Can you imagine hearing that? A 21-year-old kid, with all his dreams, sitting in a doctor's office, hearing those words? He was devastated. Devastated means completely destroyed emotionally, heartbroken to the deepest level. When something devastating happens, it feels like your whole world collapses. He went into a dark period. He stopped working. He thought, why study? Why build anything? Why try if I only have 2 years? But then, something changed. Her name was Jane Wilde, and she was about to become the most important person in Stephen's life. Stephen and Jane had met before his diagnosis, but after he got sick, something happened between them. Jane looked at this young man, sick, scared, uncertain, and she said, "I love him, and I'm not going anywhere." They got engaged. Engaged means you have made a promise to marry someone. They got engaged. They are now officially planning to get married. And this gave Stephen a reason to fight. In his own words, he said that Jane gave him something to live for. This is a beautiful and very emotional English phrase. It means a reason that makes life feel worth continuing. She gave me something to live for. Stephen decided to go back to work, back to his research, back to the universe. And here is one of the most extraordinary facts in this whole story. The doctors said he had 2 years to live. Stephen Hawking lived to be 76 years old. 2 years became 55 more years of life, work, and genius. Stephen Hawking basically looked at his diagnosis and said, "No thank you." Let's talk about what this man actually did, because wow, where do I even start? Achievement number 1, A Brief History of Time. In 1988, Stephen published a book called A Brief History of Time. This book tried to explain the biggest questions in science: the Big Bang, black holes, time, the beginning of the universe, but in a language that normal people could understand, not just scientists, everybody. It became one of the best-selling science books in history. It sold over 10 million copies. People joked that it was the most purchased but least finished book in history, meaning everyone bought it, but not everyone could finish reading it because it was still quite complex. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. This means I understand that feeling too, because I experienced it too. Achievement number 2, Black Holes. Before Hawking, scientists thought black holes were simple, just regions in space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. Hawking said, wait, actually, black holes radiate energy slowly over time. This was called Hawking radiation, named after him. This was a revolutionary idea. Revolutionary means it changed everything. It turned science upside down. Achievement number 3, Cosmology and the Big Bang. Hawking worked with scientist Roger Penrose to develop theories about how the universe began, the Big Bang, the origin of time itself. Origin means the beginning, where something comes from. Together, they proved that if Einstein's theory is correct, then the universe had a beginning, a single point in time where everything started. Now, I want to talk about something more personal, more human. Because Stephen Hawking didn't just face intellectual challenges, he faced physical suffering every single day. And I think this is the most inspiring part of his story. As the years went by, ALS slowly took control of his body. By the 1970s, he needed a wheelchair. A wheelchair is a chair with wheels that helps people who cannot walk move around. By the 1980s, he lost the ability to speak completely. He had a surgery, and after that, he could not produce any sound with his voice. So how did he communicate? Technology, a computer, a special sensor on his cheek that detected tiny movements. He would twitch his cheek muscle, just the smallest movement, and letter by letter, word by word, he would construct sentences. The computer would then speak those sentences in a robotic voice. And that robotic voice? That became his signature, his identity. The whole world recognized Stephen Hawking by that flat electronic voice. Signature, in this context, it means something unique to a person, something that represents them. Now, how did he face all of this? With humor. That's the answer. Humor. Stephen Hawking had one of the best senses of humor of any scientist who ever lived. He made jokes constantly. He appeared on The Simpsons. He appeared on Star Trek. He once said, "Life would be tragic if it weren't funny." He also said, "However difficult life may seem, there's always something you can do and succeed at." He lived those words every single day. Stephen Hawking died on March 14, 2018. He was 76 years old. And here's a beautiful detail. March 14th is also the birthday of Albert Einstein. Coincidence? Probably, but still pretty amazing. He died exactly 55 years after his diagnosis, 55 years after doctors said he had 2 years. He was buried in Westminster Abbey in London, one of the most sacred and historical places in England. He lies near Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin, the greatest scientists of history, together. Now, what is his legacy? Legacy is one of the most important words in English for talking about famous people. It means what someone leaves behind after they die, their impact, their contribution to the world. Hawking's legacy includes his science, theories that are still being studied and tested today. His book, which made science accessible to everyone. His example, showing that a human body has limits, but the human mind has none. That suffering does not have to stop you. That disability is not inability. And his humor, reminding all of us that even in the hardest life, you can still laugh. Before we finish, let's quickly review the English we learned today. Number 1. Prestigious, famous, and respected. Oxford is a prestigious university. Number 2. Devastated, completely heartbroken. She was devastated by the news. Number 3. Engaged, promised to marry. They got engaged last year. Number 4. Revolutionary, completely changing the way we think. It was a revolutionary idea. Number 5. Signature, something unique to a person. That's his signature style. Number 6. Legacy, what someone leaves behind after they life. What is your legacy? Number 7. Accessible, available and understandable to everyone. He made science accessible. Number 8. I can relate. I understand that feeling too. I can totally relate. Number 9. Potential, the ability to become great. She has so much potential. Number 10. Purpose, your reason for being here. He found his purpose. And that is the story of Stephen Hawking. A man whose body slowly stopped working, but whose mind never did. A man who was told he had 2 years and chose to live for 55 more years. A man who looked at the universe and said, "I will understand you." And a man who looked at his own suffering and said, "I will laugh anyway." I think there's a lesson in that for all of us. Whatever challenge you are facing right now, and I know some of you are facing real hard things, remember Stephen Hawking. You still have something to live for. You still have something to give. Thank you so much for listening to English Every Day. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit like, leave a comment, tell me what part of Stephen's story moved you the most, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Next week, another incredible story. another chance to laugh, learn, and grow together. I'm Sam, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.